By now, I'm sure you've heard of the exposure triangle, and that's great. How to get, a properly exposed shot, how to make something look good, etc. But I'm going to give you a different kind of triangle, and it's not because I love triangles, because I was actually horrible at math. But basically, I'm going to give you something called the creative triangle. So have you ever heard of it? Probably not, but if you have, here's a refresher. Here we go. What I'm going to do is just kind of display a graph of this triangle over here, so that way you can jot it down for yourself, or that way, it's easier for visual learners. So what is the creative triangle? Basically, it has 3 parts. Once again, a triangle has 3 parts. It involves composition, lighting, and your technique. And why is it important? Well, basically, it's that thing of how you get a shot, not just make a shot. First of the 3 tips of the triangle will be composition. Now, how is that creative? Well, you have full creative control over what your shot's going to look like. What focal length you're going to use, what the background's going to look like, what you're going to include, what you're not going to include in the shot. And it's just, there's a ton of things you can do with composition, angle, everything, how much size, everything. So basically, that's one of the best, creative ways to get something, especially your angle or perspective. Can really tell a lot. Lighting, obviously a huge part of it, because that way you can control how you're, what you want to tell through shadows, without shadows. Do you want something with high key lighting, low key lighting, anything like that. You can create so many different moods through, gels and everything like that. You just have so much more creative control. So if you at least, combine the first 2 tips, which was composition and lighting, first, there's just 2 huge things that you already have. And if you, get a great exposure with that, you're gonna get a great shot out of that, because it's just going to look good and you're thinking creatively. And obviously the third thing is pretty important. You need to know your technique. So what do we have so far? We have composition, lighting, and your technique. Basically, you have to know what you're doing. You have to get the exposure triangle down to get a technically sound, well-exposed, good-looking shot. But you just get your technique down in regards to that. So the exposure triangle kind of blends into the creative triangle. So if you're ever in a rut and you're thinking like, oh, how do I get creative? How do I get creative images? Just think of, this new triangle. Well, maybe you have heard of it, maybe you haven't heard of it before, but where it involves composition, lighting, and your technique. Get that all down. You're going to be creative. That's what I got today. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye, giving you the creative triangle. So add it to your repertoire. I know it's short, I know it's simple, I know it's sweet, but as long as, learning the exposure triangle with it, it's just really going to help you, broaden your sense of photography and how to become more creative. So that's all I got. If this helped you out, give this a quick thumbs up, subscribe down below for more. There's a lot more to come. Also, add down below, what else can you add to this? Is there any other kind of, formulas or shapes, to getting the perfect shot? There is no such thing as the perfect shot, but, is getting the shot you're trying to achieve. That's all I got. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Get creative, use this triangle.